beautiful people, welcome once again to FASHIONY-MAGAZINE. We will discuss quite an important topic today, and we're sure you don't want to miss out on it. Before we start, do not forget to subscribe if you're new here. Also, like and share our video if you benefit from it. Now, without further ado, let's get right into the video. First, what is racism in marketing? Racism in marketing and advertising is something that has been happening for several years. It is quite an interesting topic. One, because they keep coming up in different forms and strategies as time evolves. One would think that they would have thought that this problem would have been long forgotten since the awareness of it keeps increasing each day. Sadly enough, that is not the case. Because of the different forms they appear in, it might be difficult to identify it at first glance. But further delving into such marketing adverts will open your eyes more. You will see them glaring in the examples we will show you in this video. However, before that, let's quickly discuss some common terms and point out some indications that will make you realize that racism in marketing is still well practiced. Some things we would spill here will wow you. Happy listening. Number 1. Racism. What is racism? According to the Oxford Dictionary, racism is the discrimination or antagonism of an individual, community, or institution against a person or people based on their membership of a particular racial or ethnic group, typically one that is minority or marginalized. The belief that different races possess distinct characteristics, abilities, or qualities, especially to distinguish them as inferior or superior to one another, is transferred as racism. For advertising, there is no general rules or standard that universally defines or states the general standard for detecting racism in any marketing content. However, when in play, it will always be noticed. For example, there was the Japanese detergent advert, where a lady used a detergent being advertised to wash a black man and to a complete white man. Does this imply that a black man is likened to a speck of dirt? Or that being black is something to be ashamed of? Or being white is synonymous with perfection? Well, you can trust the black race in how much they express their disgust over such an insulting video. Now, that is a clear example of racism. Number 2. Stereotype. Now, let's quickly define another basic term we will frequently use in this video. Stereotype. Stereotype includes making assumptions about people based on their beliefs and characteristics thought to be peculiar to them. There are different stereotypes in marketing, and some of them include gender roles, racial stereotypes, and stereotypes involving children. For this video, we would focus more on racial stereotypes because racism in marketing is the bone of contention. Stereotypes in marketing include creating marketing content or adverts based on a perceived notion of a particular group. Number 3. Target group. This is a simple concept, as it is a term to use to define the particular audience being targeted for a particular reason. In marketing and advertisement, the target group is majorly known to be the particular group or population the marketing ad is being targeted at. As simple as ABC. With marketing or advertising, some examples of a target group are foreigners in a country, a particular ethnic group, a particular profession, etc. There are valid reasons to target a particular culture, but there were a lot of controversies surrounding it. In the case of using stereotypes for some cultures, is it legit or is it wrong? How thin is the line between stereotype and racism? Let's find out together in this video. Indications that racism is practiced in marketing. Now, let's point out some indications that will bring to your awareness that racism in marketing is still very much in play. Perhaps you are tempted to think that there are no cases of racism in marketing and advertising. Or you feel this way because you haven't directly witnessed or seen one. Or it can be that you haven't carefully analyzed why you see some trends in most marketing content you come across. Well, this discussion will open your eye to see the different indications that racism is still much practiced in marketing. Number 1. Marketing dark people brighter in ads. You will have noticed a trend of dark people appearing brighter in adverts, and your innocent mind thinks it's just some light editing to increase the visual aesthetics of the ads. Well, you got it all wrong there. There is a notion behind it, and you will be surprised at the whole concept. The concept of making dark people brighter in adverts or marketing content is referred to as whitewashing. Whitewashing is a marketing trend used in the advertising industry to make a point that the standard of beauty should be likened to a European beauty standard with European features. This trend gives a higher preference to European traits while making traits from other races look inferior. In clear, simple terms, whitewashing can be defined as the digital altering of the pictures of models to make them fairer than what they look like in real life. This all boils down to general perception of the standard of beauty to be the white appeal, i.e. straight and long hair, light skin, round eyes, Caucasian features, and other characteristics of European beautiful ladies. If you are still in doubt, Beyoncé's case is a perfect example. In 2008, a beauty company named L'Oreal Clear used the singer Beyoncé for their advertising campaign. It turned out that in the advertising campaign image, they had brightened Beyoncé's hair and skin color to tend it towards the standard of European beauty. This caused a lot of backlash for them, especially from the Black community. According to the Black community, they had diminished the Black race, and this is sending the wrong message to the young fans of Beyoncé that the Black race is inferior and not to be proud of. Looking into this deeper, you would agree with us that such an occurrence can all foster bleaching among the young fans of Beyoncé. Another example of Black celebrities that have been subject to whitewashing is Lupita Nyong'o and Kerry Washington. For Lupita Nyong'o, it was the case of her beauty campaign with Vanity Fair. While Kerry Washington, it was her advert for InStyle. Carefully looking at the backlash that these companies experience for whitewashing these female Black celebrities, it is a clear sign that their advert, which was supposed to yield something positive, ended up yielding something negative. This is the consequence of racism and marketing. The societal consequences of harboring anger toward the company will only leave such a company with the opposite of what they hope to get from their campaigns and advert. For example, the beauty campaign made for Beyoncé was to bring in more customers. On the contrary, it has only ended up making them lose potential customers both in the white and the Black community. Number 2, less popular content with a Black or Asian person. Looking closely at the most popular advertisements or marketing content, it is very common to see the Black race underrepresented. Yeah, we have a good deal of research to back this up. According to research carried out by morningconsult.com, 62% of Asian Americans have made it known that their representation in advertisements is relatively low. 41% of Hispanic Americans, 32% of Black Americans, and 24% of white Americans shared the same belief. This research is to open your eyes to see to what extent each group and each population thinks about how they're represented in advertisement and marketing campaigns. Looking at these figures closely, you notice that the population of white Americans who share the same notion is very low compared to other populations, which are Asians and Blacks. During the recent Black Lives Matter campaign, there have been some improvements in this aspect as more brands now feature Black consumers in their marketing campaigns. However, research from Morning Consult showed that other major US populations made up of Asian Americans and Hispanic Americans feel more underrepresented in advertising than compared with white and Black Americans. This research shows that the occurrence of underrepresentation is even more than before. Another form of racism in marketing with the Black Americans is the misrepresentation of what they stand for in that campaign ad. It might be the case of giving them an inferior role, an insulting role, or a role that portrays them to be something negative. According to Wikipedia, a common example is where the Black woman is portrayed as an angry Black woman or an irrational or violent person. It might also be the dehumanization form or hypersexualization of Black people. An example is a marketing campaign by Ling Scars when they use the offensive phrase, "Once you go Black, you never go back," and "Black cars matter." This has received a lot of backlash as most people have deduced that these phrases were an insulting way to trivialize the Black Lives Matter movement. Number 3, underrepresentation of the Latinx population. Another sign of racism in marketing is the underrepresentation of Latinx people in the media. Research from Wikipedia has shown that the Latinx population has only a 4.7% representation in television ads since 2000. Even when they appeared in television ads, they were only opportune to pick up speaking roles only in 1% of the television ads they featured in. Wikipedia shows that in 2003, research discovered that 43% of the ads with Latinx population were featured in soap marketing campaigns or hygiene product ads. It was also discovered that most marketing contents was sexualizing them or portrayed them as a blue-collar laborer or subservient role. Most acting campaigns that featured them either emphasize cliches, implement Spanglish, or poke fun at accents. Number 4. Racial stereotypes are a common mental framework trend, as most advertisers include them in their ads to target a particular location based on the ethnic culture or racial group. While this whole concept of racial stereotype might directly look innocent, psychologically and indirectly, it is a potential cause of racism in marketing. Using ads familiar with the white Americans doesn't mean it is only the white that stays there. Consequently, this has a way of discouraging the non-white races inhabiting this demographic. Stereotyping isn't a healthy decision in marketing, mainly because it is insulting to the population that was alluded to the marketing content, i.e. the population race of those that were represented with another race. Another way this can be used to a disadvantage is when any form of marketing or advert uses racially offensive or insensitive language, concepts, contents, or messages. Also, it can be of a disadvantage when any advert or marketing promotes problematic ideas or values from any race. The oversimplification of an entire race by the representation of such a race using another race can be insulting. Is it to say that this racial group does not have all it takes to be worthy of the media? Why represent a racial group made up of over 1,000 populations with an entirely different race? This is one reason using stereotypes to target a particular population is racism in marketing and isn't advisable. It stands the risk of generalizing and misrepresenting groups of people to a large audience. Examples. With these indications above, we are sure you are now aware of the different ways racism exists in marketing. Just before we wrap up this video, let's discuss some common examples of racism in marketing that you see every day, but might not have noticed. It's quite hilarious that many people rarely take note of racism that exists in advertising. According to these sets of people, racism is an old act that doesn't exist anymore. Well, let's burst your bubble by giving you some examples where racism in marketing was noticed. Funny enough, they are really common examples that you're quite familiar with. Number 1. H&M, coolest monkey in the jungle. In January 2018, H&M did a marketing campaign for their newly launched hoodie with the image of Liam. Liam Mango, a 5-year-old black male, was used as the model. In the image, he wore a green hoodie sweatshirt that had the words "coolest monkey in the jungle" boldly written on it in white capital letters. Blacks found this to be offensive, and because of this, the brand got a lot of backlash both online and offline. This backlash resulted from what the term monkey means to both the white and black race. Monkey is a word used to degrade and make fun of the looks of blacks. Referring to black people as apes was a common practice during the slave trade era around the 16th and 17th centuries. Back then, many whites saw the black race as beasts who were very ugly and could be compared to that of an ape or a monkey. The backlash and protest faced by this company forced them to temporarily close some of their stores in South Africa, with a record of some of their store property destroyed as well. In addition, the mother of the model had defended H&M and its marketing campaign. Because of this, she faced backlash as well and was considered a traitor to her race. This forced her to move, especially when journalists started showing up in her home. An ad that could have generated income for the brand ended up being a source of misery for them. The finances of this brand experienced a major setback after this incident, even though this incident wasn't the only reason responsible for the setback. Number 2. Heineken, sometimes lighter is better. You must have heard about the "sometimes lighter is better" ads by Heineken for the Heineken light beer in 2018. Not long after this commercial circulated, it was thoroughly criticized and considered a marketing ad that supported racism in marketing. If you haven't heard about this 30-second advertisement, here are all the full details. A bartender passed the bottle of Heineken Light to a woman. The bottle slides and passes over some men and women of color before reaching the woman it was slid to. And just about that time, a statement appears on the screen which reads, "Sometimes lighter is better." Heineken was accused of insulting the black race, and this forced him to send an apology letter. In response, they apologized and promised to do better with other ads coming from their brand. They came up with a new ad that featured a woman looking unhappy while staring at her cup. The bartender quickly opened the bottle of beer and slid it to this woman that looks disappointed. Number 3. Balaclava knit top by Gucci. One of the most globally recognized fashion brands, Gucci has also played out racism in marketing. They had launched a new USD 900 sweater knit, which was part of their item for the winter collection called a balaclava sweater. Balaclava sweater comprises a sweater that has an extension towards the face area. This extension comprises a large mouth cover and big red lips. No doubt they were trying to achieve a blackface look, and the black population was quick to detect this. This blackface look was a type of makeup used by non-black performers to mimic a black person. It was common in the 19th century. Maybe this would have been an innocently launched collection, but it was released during Black History Month, which is bad timing as it can pass for mockery of the black race. Number 4. Intel. Maximize the power of your employees. This advertisement was an image comprising 6 muscular and strong black men who were on their knees bowing down to a white man who was in a suit. On the image, "Maximize the power of your employees" was boldly written on it. This type of ad screams out slavery, and without a doubt, this is a clear case of stereotypes and racism. They had admitted and pulled down this offensive and insulting image. However, the milk was already spilt already. Number 5. Nivea's Re-Civilize Yourself. This advert was about their men's skincare product. It was about a well-dressed male model that was about to throw away the head of another black man. This head had an afro and beard. In a nutshell, this signifies one thing: inferiority on the side of the black race. They were trying to say that nobody will employ you or hire you with an afro or beard typical to that of a black man. Instead, remove such a beast personality with a Nivea product so that you will be accepted. Well, we don't have to say much more. The disgusting notion of such an advert is a clear example of racism in marketing. We are sure that by now, you are now fully aware that there are still cases of racism in the market still experienced today. With that, it's time to wrap up this video. What are your thoughts? Do you have any other personal experiences you would love to share with us in regards to racism and marketing? Then drop your experience and comment in the comment section below. We would love to hear from you. It's time to say goodbye until the next episode. Bye.